one rifle to rule them all, what I choose and why, and how it's set up. Hey everybody, Michael with Asymmetrical Preparedness. Today we're going to the concept of one rifle to rule them all. The general purpose rifle that's set up properly and effective for most situations out there. Is this rifle going to do everything? No, it's not. It needs to be tailored to your AO, where you live, what the terrain is like. So your one rifle to rule them all may not be the same as my one rifle to rule them all because of the terrain and the situations and the threats. But before I forget, I have to mention two things. First thing is, if you haven't checked out Doomsday Queen here on YouTube, you need to go check out her channel, you need to subscribe, watch her videos. She puts out very valuable information. Number two, we're talking here about an item that makes holes, but you need to have the ability to fix holes, to fill holes. So medical is very important, and an important part of that, especially for a long-term event, will be antibiotics. So check out my link in the description below for Jace Medical. Prescription antibiotics and other prescription meds prescribed to you by their doctors, shipped straight to your door. So check out the link in the description below, coupon code, etc. Start prepping medications and such. So I'm going to get into my one rifle. It's the general rifle, the pretty much do everything I need it to do rifle, with, exceptions of course. But around here in Western Washington, 300 to maybe 500 yard shot is all you're going to get. So with that in mind, also with what threats do I perceive going up against? Okay, well, wild animals. We do have black bear around here. We do have cougars around here, aka mountain lions. So that may be some uses for this rifle. But the way I look at it is it's a general use rifle for the most situations possible. It's not going to be the best for every situation. It's not going to be the worst for every situation. So let's get into it. What do I choose? Obvious choice, I think, in the United States of America is the AR-15. Why? Because they're everywhere. Parts interchangeability, magazine interchangeability, magazine availability, parts availability, ammo availability, ammo cost, all those things. And you have a wide variety of ammunition to choose from. 55 grain all the way up to 77 grain and a bunch of stuff in between. There's a lot of different choices out there to meet your needs. So let's get into the rifle itself. This is a 16-inch barrel rifle, which I would suggest as a general purpose rifle that it be in 16 inches because it's, pretty much standard barrel length and, it'll help you do the things. This can reach out to 500 yards and it can be good for CQB purposes, for close in, if you need to defend your home, if you're, wherever you are. This rifle would meet most needs. Now, do you need everything I have on this rifle? No. First of all, as you're looking at the rifle, you notice it is scrimmed very well, which means I have camouflage in different locations. Why is that? Some people like keeping the rifles black. I will never own a black firearm because black doesn't appear really in nature. And I don't keep firearms for looks or for, the beauty of them or to collect them. I keep them because they're tools. They're tools that I use and train with on a regular basis. That's why I get some comments, how'd you get your paint job to look like all battle worn? Well, it's because I get out there and I use it all the time. I train with it all the time. So, scrimming your rifle to help break up the outline in a tactical situation. Now, are we all going to be in tactical situations? No, we're not. But this is what I like, and this is the way I have it because I feel this meets my needs very well. So let's start off with the rifle. Let's start up out front, of course. One of the most obvious things you see is the bipod. Why a bipod? Well, because I'm a very good rifle shot, and I usually tend to fill the designated marksman role within any group that I'm in. So having a bipod is a good thing for stability, for making, those accurate longer range shots. Do I need it all the time? No, I don't, but it's there if I do need it. I have a Yankee Hill flash hider. I recommend flash hiders over compensators every day because the 5.56 does not recoil enough to need a compensator. And a compensator, if you're running with a team or a group of people, this is gonna blast, you know, that blast that's thrown out to the sides is really gonna affect your teammates. You don't want that. Flash reduction is way more important. You don't want to be seen. So the best flash suppression you can get is the best option to have. Now, a suppressor would be a much better option if you choose to go that route. This is threaded for Yankee Hill style connectors for suppressors, if and or when I ever get one. So that's that. Like I said, 16-inch government profile barrel. This is just a carbine gas length. I would, however, recommend a mid-length gas system because it is less wear and tear on internal components, less recoil impulse, etc. Next, you'll notice this. This is a tack light laser combo that has a little pressure switch up top here. Lasers up front, tack lights behind it. Homemade little redneck covering for the light. And please don't say that that little Velcro noise is going to give away my location. What I do is, if it's at nighttime, I will take that off as it gets dark, so I'm ready. And I'll just throw it in my pocket or I'll tape it back on itself. During the daytime, I keep it covered though, for signature reduction purposes. Then the laser. So for sighting systems, you'll see that I do not have backup iron sights. Why is that? Well, because I have a laser, I have 2 other optics. And the odds are that all those are not gonna fail. So we'll get into my style of shooting and why I have it set up like that in just a second. M-LOK, low profile, Midwest Industries rail. I believe it's a 14-inch rail. Nice rail. I love their stuff. Really good quality rail. I love Bravo Company stuff also. So Bravo Company vert grip. Some people like running them where they're angled forward a little bit like this. Some people like running them angled backwards. I happen to prefer angled forward. So if you're going to comment about that, this is just the way I prefer it. It doesn't matter. I don't care what you think. That's my setup. What I do like about this rail also is that you'll see right here, there's a quick disconnect here and on both sides. So I can take my sling off and plug it in there if I want for whatever situation. And as I'm talking about slings, I also have a quick disconnect right here. So I can plug the front into back here and effectively have a 1-point sling. That's why I like the setup. I like versatility. I don't want to have a 1-point sling all the time, but there may be situations where I want to run a 1-point sling. So I can move the same sling without having to buy a bunch of extra stuff, plug it in back here, and have effectively a 1-point sling. I like having versatile things on my weapon systems. All right, next thing that's very obvious is the low power variable optic. This is a Vortex Strike Eagle. This is the 1:6 second focal plane. So if I was choosing one to really make this my one rifle to do it all, I would choose a 1:8 power variable optic because that gives me better clarity out there for a target identification. And I would also be a Primary Arms ACSS reticle because I love that reticle. And it would be first focal plane also, so that throughout the entire magnification range, it would retain its 0. This, however, is not. So I have it zeroed at max magnification. So that's what works for me. Because if I'm close in and it's on 0 and I'm using this close in, which I don't have to, we'll go into why, but it's still close enough to be able to hit targets effectively. So why is this not used close in? Because I have my microdot on top. This is just a True Glow microdot. Usually you see them on handguns, but handguns with that slide reciprocation, actually the optic takes more abuse on a handgun than it does on a rifle. So optics that are made for handguns actually work very well on rifles because rifles, this is not going to receive any of the shock that it would on a handgun. So this works perfectly fine. And my style of shooting, which I will go into really quickly. So when I'm in a very, very close in, say 10 yards or less, CQB situation, I train a lot of instinctual shooting. So I know where to hit instinctually just using my rail as a sighting plane. That is my instinctual shooting. Then if I need to go a little bit further out, all I have to do is roll the rifle over and my red dot is perfectly in line, the little micro dot. Then if I need to shoot further out, all I gotta do is duck my head down and I have my low power variable optic. So it's very minimal motion. It takes me from instinctual shooting to close in to long range. Keep that overall signature reduction in movement to a minimum. That is the way I operate my weapon systems. And because I don't have backup irons on this, I don't need to have some fancy quick disconnect mount for the optic, because those are expensive and I'm on a very, very, very like zero limited budget. Another thing I do have is I have the Magpul BAD lever on here. I've heard people say that Magpul BAD levers, they don't like them because they're polymer. This is an old one and this is metal, and it works very well. I love having it. I like that quick set, the second that it reduces the manual at arms for getting back into the fight faster. All right, another thing you'll notice is the Fel Zero bolt carrier group. I love their bolt carrier groups. Are they the best? Maybe not, but they work very, very well. They're not too expensive, and yeah, I love the Fel Zero bolt carrier group. Another thing I feel is a must-have on all rifles, for me personally, because I use gloves when I'm operating a rifle. What if I need to swap out my bolt carrier group while in the field? Well, I can open up my receiver to access my bolt because I have extended takedown pins from Yankee Hill and Machine. I love having those. Do I need the forward one? Maybe not, but it just makes it a lot easier to use. Another thing is an ambidextrous charging handle. This is a Bravo company one. I like having the option because you never know. One-handed shooting, you're gonna need to hit it up a barrier, use whatever side, just there's a lot of different situations. Moving back, another thing I really like on all my rifles is the Mission First Tactical Minimalist stock. I love these things. They weigh like 5 ounces, I think, and I have beat this one to heck. I have used this as a hook for climbing up and over barriers with all my kit on. I've banged it against stuff, I've hit it on stuff, I've trained with this exact one right here on this rifle for over 10 years, I believe. So yeah, they are sturdy, they are strong, and they are adjustable. My sling, you may ask. Sling is just a Condor Speedy sling. I like it. It's just a simple 2-point sling, has a very quick adjustment if I need to have it nice and tight to my body, or all the way out for use in swapping shoulders and stuff like that. The trigger is totally stock, just a stock AR trigger. I'm good enough at shooting that I can run this trigger really hard and run this rifle really hard, and I don't have any issues with it at all. So that is what it is. Oh, I just forgot also, the Bravo company pistol grip. I love Bravo company grips, absolutely love them. That neutral grip angle really helps when you're out doing the things and you're patrolling around like this, keeping your wrist at a neutral angle instead of all twisted up like this, because you have a really steep angled grip. So I really like them. Just a Magpul trigger guard, you know, just a simple little thing, no big deal. So that is my pretty much do everything rifle. Like I said before, it is not the best in every situation. It may not work for you, but I feel this is a very decent setup for the average American anywhere in the United States. I think this rifle will work fairly well. I think it has enough options. I think it has enough capability. Yes, I'm very happy with this rifle. But the number one thing, if you are going to be effective with a weapon system like this, is you need to train. You need to get out there and train. You need to use it all the time. You need to be super proficient with it. You need to know everything there is to know about it. You need to be able to break it down. You need to be able to fix stoppages. You need to be able to hit and know where you're going to hit at all the distances that you might need to employ this weapon system. So get out there and train, work on your fitness. Check us out on Patreon. Check out the links in the description below. And I don't know if you commented about the hat yet. Love you guys. Have a wonderful day. And blessings to you and yours.